This one prayer can reverse 10 years of spiritual sabotage, and that's exactly why the enemy will distract, delay, or even attack you before you finish this video. There is a prayer hidden in this message that carries the weight of reversal. A divine sentence that, once spoken, does not just echo in the atmosphere, it overturns demonic cycles, breaks invisible chains, and rewinds the enemy's sabotage like it never existed. This is not an ordinary word. This is not an ordinary moment. This is not an ordinary prayer. Heaven has concealed something mighty within this message, something the enemy hoped you'd never find. That is why you are here now, standing at the brink of something unseen but undeniably real. This is a midnight hour word. Not for yesterday, not for tomorrow, but for now. The hour has struck, the heavens have opened, and the revelation is being released into the realm of the willing. This moment is sacred, divinely selected and surgically delivered. This message was whispered through fire, carried on the breath of intercession, and birthed through the womb of delay. It did not come early because your spirit wasn't ready. It did not come late because heaven doesn't miss appointments. It comes now, because the weight of your warfare has reached the tipping point of divine justice. And the enemy knows it. Oh yes, he knows. That's why, as this message plays, distractions will rise like sudden storms. Your phone will ring, your mind will wander, people will call your name. These are not coincidences. These are engineered to keep you from the exact prayer that would sever what's been secretly holding you back. The enemy is terrified of what you're about to hear because he knows what will happen when you finish. But this isn't for everyone. This is not for the casual listener, the curious mind, or the spiritually complacent. This word is for the marked, the chosen, the ones heaven has been watching, the ones who have wept in silence, warred in dreams, and walked through delays that made no sense. This is for the one whose name has been spoken in heaven more than it has been spoken on earth. This is for the one whose alignment will trigger angelic activity. You must remain still. You must remain attentive. You must resist the pull to skip, to scroll, to leave early. Because only those who endure until the end of this message will unlock the reversal. Only those who stay positioned will receive the prayer that seals the shift. Type "I receive this word" in the comments if you're still here. Blessing code 1414 is already unlocking in your life. The Spirit of the living God says, listen carefully, not with casual ears, not with a distracted heart, but with the full attention of one who senses eternity is brushing against time in this moment. For the voice that speaks to you now is not of man, but a prophetic breath carried through the threshold of heaven. This is not just a word to inspire. This is a word to reverse, to restore, to resurrect what was buried by sabotage, delay, and demonic sabotage. And it carries an urgency, a fire sealed in divine timing. Within the next 24 hours, if your spirit aligns, if your posture stays surrendered, a shift can be sealed over your life, a complete and holy turnaround from the hidden snares that have choked your progress and stolen your clarity. This is the kind of word. This is that kind of moment. One single whisper from God can scatter a decade of destruction. One act of alignment can redeem what you thought was gone forever. One prayer, this prayer, can reverse 10 years of spiritual sabotage. And that is exactly why you feel the intensity pressing against you even now. Do not mistake what is happening to you. The distractions rising as you listen are not random. The sudden urge to pause, to check your phone, to look away, to walk off, that is not a coincidence. That is warfare. The enemy does not fear empty words, But he fears this moment. He fears your ears hearing the sound of deliverance. He fears your heart being awakened by divine clarity. And he is doing all he can to keep you from receiving what will undo the very system of sabotage he's spent a decade building around your life. Even now, your spirit feels it. Interruption is stirring. You sense the resistance in your atmosphere. Unexplained tension. Sudden emotions. Distraction knocking like a wave at your door. But I speak to you now. Do not move. Do not leave this word unfinished. Do not abort the breakthrough. You are not just watching a video. You are standing at the border of spiritual reversal. And the enemy knows if you cross over, if you stay still until the final word, you will never be bound in the same cycle again. This word is not for the masses. It was not designed for the many. It was crafted for the marked. For the weary soul who's been carrying sabotage unseen. For the ones who have looked at their life and thought, why does everything I build collapse right at the edge of breakthrough? For the ones who fasted and prayed, but felt the weight of hidden resistance still holding them down. For the ones who felt unseen, uncelebrated, unheard, while others prospered with ease. This is not a word of pity. This is a word of positioning. You have been chosen for this message because heaven has decided it's time. The books of remembrance have opened. The seals of delay are being broken. And heaven is ready to hand you the prayer that ends what has been attacking you in silence for far too long. But you must make it to the end. Not halfway. Not just to the good parts. All the way through. Because the fullness of your reversal is embedded in the rhythm of this revelation. From beginning to end, every word has been heaven-breathed to cut through spiritual sabotage and awaken divine recompense. So lean in. Let nothing move you. Because what awaits you is not just breakthrough, it is reversal, restoration, and rise. Type I am still here in the comments if the enemy tried to interrupt you, but you're still watching. Lesson code 555 is now unfolding over your obedience. You felt it. The subtle erosion of progress. The invisible weight in the atmosphere. The way people smiled to your face, but their hearts whispered betrayal in secret. They clapped when you stumbled. They celebrated your delays. They spoke in tongues in public but cursed your name in private. This is not your imagination. This is not paranoia. This was sabotage, not by strangers, but by voices cloaked in familiarity. They saw fragments of your future. They sensed the oil on your life, even when you didn't. They didn't know the whole vision, but they knew enough to fear what you were becoming. And so they partnered, not with heaven, but with whispers, envy, and demonic orchestration. You've carried the consequences, but you never fully understood the cause. Until now. The Lord says, I have heard the silent frustrations you never voiced. I saw the tears that leaked from your soul, even when your face smiled. I watched when you gave, when you supported, when you built others while your own life felt like it was slowly falling apart. And he says to you now, none of it was lost. None of it went unnoticed. What was hidden from your understanding is fully exposed in my courts. You've wondered why progress seemed to stall right at the edge of breakthrough. Why doors would open, then suddenly slam shut. Why peace was temporary. Why every time you rose to a higher level, something would snatch you back down. It wasn't bad luck. It wasn't coincidence. It wasn't just life. It was engineered interference, custom built to wear you down, to drain your faith, to bury your calling before it matured. There were spiritual contracts spoken against you, not by witches in distant lands, but by people who once called you family. There were demonic assignments disguised as friendships, romantic connections, business partnerships, smiles with poison underneath, prayers with manipulation attached, conversations that were really incantations of doubt and delay. You were never supposed to make it this far, but you did. And that's why this prayer must now reverse the sabotage they initiated. You have been walking through emotional sabotage, attacks not just on your circumstances, but on your mind, your emotions, your relationships, and your sense of identity. But the Holy Spirit says, you are not crazy. You are not broken. You are not forgotten. You have been in a storm of spiritual sabotage, but I am now sending my wind to reverse the tide. This next moment, this next prayer, this next decree will be the unlocking, the unraveling of what they bound. The spiritual knots they tied in secrecy will untangle under the authority of heaven's fire. The enemy engineered your pain, but heaven is engineering your comeback. The betrayal did not cancel the promise. It only confirmed that you were a threat. There is a holy mystery to your warfare. God allowed certain things to be hidden from you, not to harm you, but to protect you from premature warfare. If He had exposed it all at once, it would have crushed you. But now, because you've matured, because you've endured, because you're still standing, He's revealing the full weight of the sabotage, only so He can fully reverse it. Do not miss the gravity of this moment. You're not just watching a video. You're standing in the middle of a holy confrontation, heaven versus sabotage, glory versus shadow, destiny versus delay. You are being positioned to reverse every spiritual tactic the enemy thought would work against you. And I declare, you're coming out of emotional confusion. The fog is lifting. The interference is breaking. The voices of doubt are being silenced. What they engineered in secret, God is reversing in public. Type reverse IT, Lord, in the comments if your spirit feels this word. Blessing code 777 has just been activated over your timeline. This moment is more than a message. It is a mission. Every seed you sow helps this word reach the weary, the wounded, the waiting. God is using your generosity to break chains on people you may never meet. The oil flows further when we carry it together. Just like the widow's jar did not run dry, your giving fuels a river of deliverance to others still caught in sabotage. If you feel stirred to stand with this message, to sow where you've been fed, you can support through Super Thanks, YouTube membership, or directly through PayPal link in the video description. Heaven sees what you do in secret and blesses openly. Your obedience opens the heavens over someone else's deliverance. Let your support become your prophetic agreement. Blessing. May every dollar sown break sabotage in your own bloodline. Move now. Don't delay. The window is open. Let me speak this plainly, so your spirit does not miss what your flesh may resist. This was never personal. It was always spiritual. You were never just fighting people. You were never just dealing with hard seasons. You were never just in bad relationships or working in toxic environments. No, beloved, you were in a war. A war that predates your memory, but not your mission. A war against the light inside of you. A war launched by darkness the moment heaven whispered your name into existence. This wasn't about your job. This wasn't about your bank account. This wasn't about your emotions. It was about your assignment, The Sabotage was sent to abort the scroll written over your life. The resistance wasn't random. It was a spiritual contract designed to frustrate your alignment with divine timing. That's why it felt like as soon as you got clarity, confusion followed. That's why every time you tried to rise, something invisible pushed back. You weren't just experiencing life's ups and downs. You were under surveillance from the realm of darkness. Yes, it held watch you, monitored you, measured your growth. And when the enemy saw you waking up, saw you beginning to recognize your value, saw you detaching from cycles, saw you drawing near to God, he launched delays disguised as situations, people, and opportunities. You thought you were just dealing with life, but you were actually walking through invisible warfare, a battle between your calling and your confusion, a battle between who you were becoming and what hell hoped you'd never find out. But here is the truth you must hear, even through the pain. The attack confirms your calling. If there was no oil, there would be no opposition. If there were no destiny, there would be no sabotage. The reason your warfare has been intense is not because you're weak. It's because you're dangerous to the enemy's plan. You carry something rare, something pure, something that shakes darkness when it matures. You are a walking contradiction to hell's agenda, and every time you prayed when it hurt, heaven recorded it. Yes, you read that right. Heaven recorded it. Every tear you cried in silence. Every fast you completed while confused. Every betrayal you endured without bitterness. Every time you gave when you had nothing. It was not forgotten. It was not lost in the wind. It is written in the archives of heaven. And now, the scales of justice are tipping in your favor. You see, spiritual sabotage is not simply about delay. It's about disruption of divine flow. It's an intentional campaign to interrupt the rhythm of your prophetic journey. But the Lord says, I allowed it for a season, not to break you, but to build in you a warrior's heart. He says, what the enemy meant for destruction, I allowed for development. What they spoke to destroy you, I permitted to refine you. Because only fire can bring forth pure gold, and I needed you pure for the platform I'm building. And now hear me clearly. If you retreat, the enemy wins. If you let distraction dislocate you from this moment, the sabotage cycle will continue. But if you stand still, if you stay postured in obedience, if you let this word soak into the marrow of your spirit, heaven will fight for you. You don't need to explain yourself anymore. You don't need to beg people to understand you. You don't need to carry the guilt of their betrayal. All you need to do is remain aligned. Because the vengeance of the Lord is not in noise, it is in justice. And divine justice is already in motion. Don't try to fix what's falling apart. Don't chase what left. Don't try to vindicate yourself to people who never celebrated your truth. Your job now is simple. Stand still and let the Spirit of God execute what only He can do. The reversal has already begun in the Spirit. What was working against you is now working for you. The trap they set is now a tomb for their own demonic schemes. And the throne you were blocked from is now being prepared with your name etched in fire upon it. You are not here by chance. You are not hearing this by mistake. This is a summons, not to retreat, but to rise. Stand still, chosen one. Justice is falling like thunder, and the God who recorded every injustice is now releasing every reward. Type I will stand still in the comments if you refuse to retreat. Blessing code 888 is surrounding your house, your name, your destiny now. The Spirit of the Lord says, prepare yourself. The enemy is not finished. He has seen what you are stepping into, and he is escalating. This is not to invoke fear, but to ignite awareness. What you are stepping into is a spiritual courtroom moment, and the verdict is about to shift in your favor. But understand this clearly, in the realm of the spirit, whenever justice is about to be served, hell intensifies its activity. And that is exactly what's happening right now. Even as you listen, resistance is rising. You may have already sensed it, a sudden heaviness in the atmosphere, unexpected friction in relationships, random accusations, strange dreams, or out-of-nowhere distractions. These are not coincidences. These are preemptive strikes from the enemy to abort the spiritual transaction taking place over your life. The enemy knows what this message is unlocking. He knows this one prayer has the authority to sever his grip on the past 10 years of your life, and so he will do whatever it takes to interrupt your access to it. You must be warned. Within the next 72 hours, resistance will escalate. It will look ordinary. It will wear familiar faces. It may even come through the voices you love. But make no mistake, it is engineered interference. The enemy does not always roar. Sometimes he whispers. He imitates the voice of concern, the mask of busyness, the illusion of just being tired. You will feel the weight of the resistance in subtle waves. Don't let it deceive you. Don't let it pull you back into old cycles. You may even start to second-guess this moment. The doubt may come in thoughts like, is this even real? Maybe I'm being too spiritual. But hear me now, that is the enemy's final line of defense. If he cannot stop you by attack, he'll try to delay you by distraction. And if distraction fails, he will attempt to wear you down through familiar cycles, emotional fatigue, unexpected offenses, small arguments that steal your focus. These are all tactics of spiritual warfare designed to keep you from completing the transaction of deliverance and reversal that heaven has prepared for you. But listen closely. The enemy is overplaying his hand. Because what he fails to realize is that his aggression confirms your breakthrough. The pressure you're feeling is not a sign of failure, it's the signature of transition. Heaven is responding to the prayers you've sown in silence. And hell is panicking. Because the more you press in, the more the reversal is becoming irreversible. That's why the attacks feel heavier now than ever before. The enemy has pulled out all remaining schemes because he knows this is the hour his grip breaks. And yet, the Lord would have you know, do not fear. Do not flinch. Do not respond in the flesh. Every act of resistance is already being logged in the courts of heaven. Every plan being stirred is already under surveillance by angelic forces. You are not alone. You are not uncovered. You are not unguarded. But you must remain spiritually alert. This is the moment you cannot afford to become casual. You cannot afford to scroll away, to mentally check out, to sleep when you should be watching. The enemy is attempting to distract you just long enough to delay the word that would reverse what he spent 10 years building. Don't let it happen. Stay locked in. Stay engaged. Because the moment you disengage is the moment the enemy tries to renegotiate his access. But if you finish this word, if you stay until the final breath of this revelation, his grip will break permanently. This message is your weapon. This prayer is your reversal. This warning is not fear, it is strategy. God is not alarmed by the resistance. He is exposing it so you can disarm it. And when you remain postured, even in the middle of the enemy's chaos, your silence becomes warfare. Your focus becomes obedience. Your endurance becomes the gateway to divine reversal. So hear it again, and let it settle deep in your spirit. Within 72 hours, the pressure may increase, but so will the power. The enemy's desperation reveals your elevation. Don't retreat. Don't react. Stand. Stand and watch the salvation of the Lord unfold like fire over your bloodline. Type "I will not be moved" in the comments if you are standing strong in the face of the storm. Lesson Code 911 is surrounding your home, your mind, and your divine momentum now. Be still. Let the winds rage. Let the voices rise. Let the pressure press. But you must be still. The Spirit of the living God issues a divine command to you now. Be still and do not respond in the flesh. This is not the hour to clap back. This is not the time to explain yourself. This is not the moment to react emotionally or to re-enter conversations God already called you out of. This is your instruction in the face of sabotage. Retreat into silence, into obedience, into the chamber of divine strategy where heaven speaks louder than fear. The battle has intensified because your victory has matured. But the way forward is not through force, it's through focus. And in this next stretch of warfare, your silence is your sword. Your stillness is your shelter. The enemy thrives on chaos, on noise, on reaction. But when you become quiet under divine direction, you confuse the enemy's entire structure. He does not know how to respond when the one he attacked refuses to flinch, when the one he tried to bait refuses to bite, when the one he tormented retreats into holy stillness instead of unholy retaliation. The Lord says, "Do not engage what I've already defeated. Do not resurrect what I buried. Do not answer what I silenced." You must discern that your strength in this hour is not in fighting fire with fire, but in surrendering your mouth to heaven and your heart to stillness. Withdraw from every battlefield that was not assigned to you. Not all conflict is your calling. Not every attack deserves your attention. Not every accusation needs your defense. Some wars are sent not to defeat you, but to distract you from the reversal being released. This is where many lose the battle. Right here. Right when breakthrough is closest. Right when the sabotage is cracking and justice is awakening. The enemy sends the final wave, not to overpower, but to provoke. And if you take the bait, if you respond out of flesh instead of spirit, you forfeit the legal right to divine intervention. Heaven cannot fight what you keep engaging on your own. You must let the Lord fight for you. You must hold your peace and let His justice speak in thunder. Withdraw, chosen one, into prayer, into the secret place, into stillness, into strategy. This is not weakness. This is warfare by wisdom. Your silence is not passivity. It is prophetic warfare. You are stepping out of the visible and into the invisible where angels are already on assignment. As you still yourself before God, the courts of heaven open. The judge of all things takes his seat. And he does not need your rage. He needs your reverence. The Lord has hidden you under His wings. He has sealed your spirit in a chamber of protection. Even now, He is covering you from the arrows sent by those who once walked beside you. Even now, He is shielding your name from every whisper, every curse, every wicked tongue that rose against you in jealousy. You are not naked in this battle. You are cloaked in glory. You are not exposed. You are hidden in Him. You are not vulnerable. You are surrounded by angels of fire. Let them talk. Let them guess. Let them wonder why you haven't reacted. Let them spin their stories while heaven writes yours in gold. The Lord is your defender. The Lord is your shield. The Lord is your silent warrior, and He does not miss. He strikes at the perfect moment. He vindicates without announcement. He exposes without warning. And He restores without delay. Speak only what heaven authorizes. Move only when the Spirit leads. Posture yourself in divine stillness, and the enemy will stumble in confusion. He expects retaliation. Instead, give him reverence. He expects chaos. Instead, give him calm authority. And when you do, the sabotage will have no power to persist. It will break under the silence of the obedient. You are shielded. You are preserved. You are hidden. You are seated under the wings of the Almighty, and no force, no lie, no curse, no opposition can snatch you from His hand. The reversal is not just happening around you. It is happening through your obedience. The more still you remain, the louder heaven roars. Type "I am hidden in Him" in the comments if you're withdrawing from chaos and stepping into the chamber of stillness. Lesson code 444 is shielding you even now. You are not a Kahuli. You are not the aftermath of sabotage. You are not what they said you were. You are not broken beyond repair. You are not delaying beyond destiny. No, you are a rising warrior, carved in the fire of betrayal, molded in the silence of warfare, trained in the shadows where no one applauded, and where heaven never looked away. This season, this word, this moment, is not about recovery. It is about resurgence. Hear the voice of the Lord roaring over your life. I am reintroducing you, not as who they broke, but as who I've built in the storm. You are stepping into the identity that sabotage could not steal. The enemy thought the sabotage would define you, confine you, silence you, but instead, it refined you. Like fire purifies gold, your trials have stripped away every false identity, every imposter version of yourself, every mindset that agreed with defeat. What is left now is holy resilience, unshakable, unwavering, unbreakable. This is the hour where victimhood dies and victory rises. This is the moment where you shed the identity of almost, not yet, barely surviving. Because what the enemy never calculated was your endurance. He launched attacks based on assumption, assuming that one more delay would break your faith, that one more betrayal would cause you to turn away, that one more disappointment would silence your worship. But instead, it did the opposite. It angered you and deepened your roots. It trained your ears to hear God when no one else was speaking live. Let it be known in the spirit realm. You are not the same person sabotage met 10 years ago. You are not the same believer who wept at closed doors. You are not the same intercessor who begged for validation. You are not the same warrior who used to question their worth. The fire forged something in you that warfare cannot undo. There is a mantle on your life now, a spiritual authority earned through every sleepless night, every fast that cost you strength, every no that felt like rejection, but was really redirection. God did not just preserve you, He transformed you. And what He is releasing now is not just restoration. It is a reintroduction to everything that once overlooked you. You are not walking back into life as a broken soul begging for acceptance. You are walking forward as a divinely certified weapon in the hands of the Almighty. You do not carry shame, you carry fire. You do not wear weakness, you wear wisdom. And the most powerful truth of all, The enemy knows it. That's why the distractions are heavier. That's why the warfare escalated. Because he sees what you're becoming. A voice he cannot silence. A force he cannot manipulate. A vessel that hell cannot contain. You are becoming the reversal. You are becoming the answer to prayers prayed over your bloodline. You are becoming the restoration your family didn't even know they needed. You are becoming the living evidence that sabotage can never outrun surrender. Let heaven and hell hear you now. You are not a product of pain. You are the proof of purpose. You are not who trauma tried to shape. You are who the fire refined. And because of that, nothing and no one can stop what God is doing next. Your next steps are not random. They are divinely orchestrated. Your next words are not empty. They are spiritually activated. Your very presence in this moment is a declaration that what tried to bury you only planted you deeper. Stand up in your spirit. Square your shoulders. Lift your eyes. You are not crawling into your future. You are marching into it like the warrior you are. You have survived what others did. You have endured what others collapsed under. And now, the glory of the Lord is rising upon you like a banner of fire, not just to restore you, but to remind you who you are. The enemy has miscalculated your endurance. What he thought would destroy you has developed you. What he thought would end you has empowered you. And what he tried to delay is now being accelerated by the hand of God. Type "I am a rising warrior" in the comments if this is your divine comeback season. Blessing code 000 has been stamped on your destiny. Let this be heard in the realm of the spirit. What you thought was sabotage was actually set up. What was allowed to break you was secretly designed to birth you. What delayed you was actually training you for dimensions you were not yet ready to carry. The Spirit of the Lord declares now, I permitted what I could have prevented so that you would become who you were predestined to be. This is not just about healing from sabotage. This is about stepping into the reason sabotage was allowed in the first place. You were never disqualified. You were never forgotten. You were never passed over. No, beloved. You were processed. Heaven did not cancel your name. Heaven was preparing to announce it. And the time has come. Listen closely. The sabotage you endured did not destroy your purpose. It qualified you for the next level. The very schemes the enemy formed were secretly shaping your endurance. The betrayals you faced were stripping away false attachments. The delays you hated were digging deeper wells of wisdom and discernment within you. And now, as you sit on the edge of divine reversal, the Spirit whispers, what you lost in 10 years, I will restore in 1. Yes, 1 year of restoration for every 10 years of spiritual sabotage. And not just restoration, but compensation. What was stolen will return multiplied. What was delayed will now come accelerated. This is the season where what took others decades will manifest for you in months. Why? Because you stayed. Because you endured. Because you did let bitterness become your language. Because you still believed. Even through sabotage, you still prayed. You still served. You still worship. Heaven took record. And now heaven responds. You are stepping into a divine announcement. Your name is being spoken in heavenly chambers. Angels are being dispatched not just to protect you, but to prepare places for you. God is calling your name in the presence of divine doors. The oil on your life is now demanding access. What was once locked is now opening. What was once paused is now in motion. Do not be surprised when opportunities find you without you chasing them. Do not be surprised when the very people who once ignored you now ask for your voice, your counsel, your presence. This is not pride. This is prophecy fulfilled. This is the reward of faithful obedience. This is what happens when you refuse to let sabotage you. And hear this clearly. The delay was never punishment. It was protection. Had you arrived earlier, you would have stepped into spaces with undeveloped character. Had you ascended too soon, you would have attracted wolves before discernment sharpened. God delayed it not because he was distant, but because he was disciplining your discernment, training your tongue, and refining your resilience. He was preparing a double portion, but he needed your shoulders strengthened to carry it. And now it is here. Not just a breakthrough, a birthing. You are birthing a new version of yourself, a new rhythm in the spirit, a new season marked not by sabotage, but by sovereignty. No longer will your life be defined by what you lost. It will be marked by what God is restoring. No longer will you be known for surviving sabotage. You will be known for reversing it. This is your prophetic release. You are stepping into full circle favor. Everything that was meant to block you will now bless you. The pits become platforms. The silence becomes song. The scars become scrolls of testimony. And every voice that once spoke against you will witness the hand of God exalt you. You were never forgotten. You were being forged. And now, the fire has done its work. The wilderness has been walked. The delay has been completed. Heaven is opening, and your name is the next one to be called. Type "My name is being called in heaven" in the comments if your spirit confirms this revelation. Blessing code 2121 is ushering divine restoration now. If this word stirred your spirit, understand, it's not just for you. There are thousands still caught in sabotage, still battling unseen warfare, still waiting to hear what heaven is declaring. Your support makes it possible for the word to reach them in time. This is more than a message. This is rescue. When you sow into this mission, through super thanks, membership, or PayPal link in the description, you are sending the gospel like fire through the dark. You are multiplying deliverance. You are accelerating divine reversals in others. Like the widow who gave and never lacked, your obedience unlocks supernatural flow, not just to others, but to you. This is your moment to be part of something eternal. Let your giving echo as loudly as your agreement. Blessing, may your support become the seed that reverses sabotage in your family line. Move with purpose, release what's in your hand, and watch what heaven places in yours. Now is the time. Not tomorrow. Not next month. Not when you feel ready. Now, the Spirit of God is standing at the door of your destiny, and He's not knocking. He's commanding. You've heard the warnings. You survived the sabotage. You've endured the fire. And now the heavens are saying, step into alignment. This is not a moment for passive belief. This is a moment for prophetic declaration. Say it aloud. I step into alignment. Say it like the sound of those words are slamming shut every door the enemy illegally opened in your past. Say it like the vibration of that declaration is calling angels into your future. Say it like the earth must now rearrange to make room for your arrival. Because heaven is responding to your yes. Destiny is not unlocked by potential, it's unlocked by obedience. And heaven has been waiting on your yes. Do you feel it? The shift in your spirit. That divine pull that says this isn't just another inspirational word. This is a holy summons. That's not adrenaline. It's activation. God didn't walk you through a decade of sabotage just so you could survive. He walked you through it so you could step into divine rule. You're not coming out of this battle empty-handed. You are rising with blueprints in your mouth, oil on your hands, and fire in your eyes. But hear this truth. Action is alignment. You cannot pray for change and then refuse to move. You cannot ask for reversal and then continue walking in the same cycles. Prayer is power, but movement is agreement. God says, faith without movement is not faith, it's fantasy. And this next level of favor is reserved for those who walk when the word comes, who move when the instruction falls, who respond not in convenience, but in conviction. You must break out of hesitation. Break the addiction to delay. Break the fear that has disguised itself as waiting on God. Because what if, just what if, God had been waiting on you? What if the shift has been sealed, but the release is waiting on your response? What if all of heaven is leaning over the edge, saying, when will they step into what we already finished? The battle is not ahead of you, it is beneath you now. And the only thing left to do is walk in what you've been forged for. Declare it. Not quietly, not cautiously. Declare it like you believe it. I will not return to delay. I will not shrink back into confusion. I will not live as one sabotaged. I rise in the full strength of my calling, and I step into the seat heaven has prepared for me. Let the enemy watch. Let the sabotage see what it couldn't stop. Let every mocking voice hear the sound of your obedience. Because when you step into alignment, every delay loses power. Every curse loses footing. Every lie unravels. Every demonic pattern collapses. Alignment doesn't just restore your life. It ignites your generational assignment. You are not just stepping in for yourself. You're stepping in for the lineage behind you. For the children who will never see the sabotage you survived. For the legacy that will now walk in liberty because you said yes. This is your activation moment. You're not being motivated, you're being commissioned. You're not just coming out of a hard season, you're coming into your governing season. What the enemy tried to bury is now being seated in authority. The reversal has already begun, but your obedience is the signal that it's time to release what's been held up. You've crossed the border. Now you must occupy the land. So stand up in the Spirit. Declare it aloud once more. I step into alignment. I say yes. I move with God. I walk in reversal. I activate my destiny. Say it like chains are breaking as you speak. Say it like demons are fleeing as you move. Say it like your feet are now touching the soil of your next season. Type I step into alignment in the comments if your obedience is louder than sabotage. Blessing code 717 has now been triggered in your timeline. While you sleep, heaven is working. While you rest, angels are moving. And while your natural eyes remain closed, your spirit is part of a divine negotiation taking place in realms beyond your understanding. There is a silent exchange occurring in the spirit, a transfer that no man can stop, no devil can reverse, and no demon can interrupt. This is the reward of alignment. This is what obedience unlocks. This is what the enemy was desperate to delay. God is moving behind the veil. He is reaching into the archives of time, retrieving what was stolen, blocked, delayed, or diverted. And He is placing it in your future, not just restored, but reconfigured to fit your current level of maturity. The years you thought were wasted are not gone. they are being redeemed. Every moment of sabotage, every season of loss, every year of unseen warfare, they are now currency in the courts of heaven. They are being exchanged for acceleration. The Holy Spirit whispers even now, "You did not lose time. I have preserved it." You see, in the natural, 10 years gone feels like death. But in the spiritual, time is subject to the will of the one who created it. And when he steps into the timeline with fire in his hands, 10 years of sabotage can be reversed in a moment of obedience. This is that moment. This is the holy exchange. This is the supernatural shift. It happens silently, without ceremony, without spotlight. It happens when no one is watching. It happens while your mind is still catching up to what your spirit already knows. Because your spirit felt the shift before your soul could interpret it. That unexplainable peace that just came over you, that was heaven signing a document in your favor. That wave of clarity you felt earlier, that was your name being read aloud in the courts of glory. You are not empty. You are being filled. You are not forgotten. You are being favored. You are not behind. You are being realigned with divine timing. Even now, as you listen, the Lord is orchestrating divine connections, opening sealed doors, commanding systems to make room for you. What you thought was blocked is actually being rerouted to fit your now mature capacity. You were not ready before, but you are ready now. And heaven knows it. Your promises being reactivated. Not new promises, old ones. Prophecies spoken over you long ago. Words you forgot. Dreams you buried. Visions you stopped praying for. These are being retrieved from the shelf. The dust is being blown off. And heaven is saying, "It's time." You didn't miss it. You just had to grow into it. You didn't lose it. It was waiting for you to step into the posture of authority you now carry. The exchange is holy. And it is happening even now. God is taking the trauma and releasing triumph. He's taking delay and returning dominion. He's taking silence and sending sound. He's taking your decade of sabotage and trading it for a decade of supernatural acceleration. This is not hype. This is heaven's decree. You've crossed over. You shifted timelines. You stepped from being attacked to being anointed for revenge in the spirit. Not with bitterness, but with breakthrough. Your presence is now an answer to warfare. Your voice is now a threat to darkness. Your testimony is now a weapon against generational sabotage. Sleep in peace. Rest without fear. Because even when you lie down, the reversal continues. Angels are carrying blueprints. The Spirit is rewriting contracts. Heaven is sealing scrolls. And your name is in every one of them. You are not who you used to be. You are not in the same place. This is not just another night. This is the divine exchange. And from this point forward, nothing will look the same again. Type "I receive the divine exchange" in the comments if your spirit bears witness to this shift. Lesson code 3030 is unfolding over your timeline even in the midnight hour. Justice is not a hope, it is a heavenly law. And when that law is invoked by obedience, by endurance, by faith through fire, reversal becomes inevitable. The Spirit of God declares over you now, the sabotage will not have the final word. The betrayal will not write your ending. The manipulation will not define your name. I, the Lord, have risen as judge, and I am tipping the scales in your favor. Heaven's gavel is falling. not in anger, but in righteousness. Not in vengeance as man knows it, but in justice bathed in glory. Every word cursed against you, every lie whispered behind your back, every delay engineered by those who saw your potential but feared your arrival, it is all being recorded, reviewed, and reversed. This is not random. This is not karma. This is spiritual justice, the kind only God can deliver, and only heaven can orchestrate. You see, they thought you'd remain in the shadows. They thought the delays would make you quit. They thought the shame would crush your identity. They thought sabotaging your path would silence your purpose. But instead, they activated a law they could not see. A law that says, "Touch not my anointed and do my prophets no harm." And now that law is coming for them not to destroy but to confront the injustice they sowed into your soil. Every plot is being returned to sender, tenfold. Every curse is being boomeranged, not because you asked for revenge, but because justice has its own rhythm, its own timing, its own weight. You didn't have to lift a finger. You just had to stay faithful. You didn't have to fight dirty. You just had to remain clean before God. And now, your righteousness has become a courtroom witness in your favor. The purity of your response is what empowered heaven to strike. The reversal is personal. God is not just restoring what was taken. He is publicly vindicating your name. You will not have to defend yourself. You will not have to force doors open. You will not have to beg to be seen. Because when justice moves, it announces you. It elevates you without promotion from man. It repositions you without the permission of those who tried to erase you. What they tried to bury is now becoming the platform God is building. Listen carefully. The very trap they dug is becoming your testimony. The rejection they celebrated is becoming your redirection. The manipulation that cost you time is now paying interest in supernatural favor. You are not just being restored to where you were. You are being accelerated into where you would have been had the sabotage never occurred. 10 years lost are becoming 10 years doubled. For every betrayal, there will be blessing. For every silence, there will be sound. For every door slammed shut, God is opening gates. Don't expect the reversal to look like payback. Expect it to look like positioning. God is not punishing your enemies with wrath. He is elevating you so high that their sabotage no longer matters. And in doing so, He is proving to them and to you that He was always watching. You were never alone. You were never forgotten. You were simply being positioned for public vindication. Let this be a divine reminder. Your silence was your weapon. Your worship was your war cry. Your integrity was your shield. And now, heaven is rewarding you for not stepping out of character, while sabotage tried to drag you into its chaos. You stood still, and now the Lord is fighting for you. He is reversing timelines, redeeming resources, writing outcomes. Your life is being reauthored by the one who always had the final say. So don't be surprised when tables turn without your hand on them. Don't be shocked when doors open that you never knocked on. Don't be confused when favor locates you faster than strategy ever could. This is not luck. This is justice. This is divine reversal. This is the vengeance of the Lord in the form of restoration. Type "Divine justice is mine" in the comments if you receive this word with boldness. Blessing code 9292 has been unleashed to reverse sabotage and establish supernatural justice in your life. Now that you've heard it, now that you've made it to the end, let this be sealed in your spirit. One prayer, surrendered in full faith, aligned with divine timing. is reversing 10 years of sabotage in your life. One act of obedience has done what striving never could. One moment of spiritual alignment has triggered what fasting and fighting alone could not shift. Heaven has moved. The gavel has fallen. And the spiritual sentence is reversal, restoration, and rise. You did not finish this word by accident. The enemy tried to interrupt you. He tried to send distraction, heaviness, fatigue, interruption, because he knew that if you made it to the final breath of this revelation, you would not walk away the same. And you didn't. You are not the same. Something has shifted in your spiritual DNA. Something has been recalibrated in the invisible realm. And from this moment forward, you will never walk in the shadows of sabotage again. Every lie is being reversed. Every delay is being rewritten. Every moment that seemed lost is being restored by the hand of God Himself. And not just restored, but redeemed with interest, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. God is repaying you for every year the locusts have eaten. He is returning what was stolen. He is rebuilding what was torn down. And He's doing it with fire, with speed, and with glory. You are sealed. You are seen. You are sent. You are rising from this word with heaven's fingerprint on your destiny. No longer will you walk in fear of sabotage. No longer will you bow to delay. No longer will you shrink under the weight of spiritual confusion. You are walking out of this message with clarity, with confidence, and with confirmation. Let your steps be bold. Let your words be deliberate. Let your obedience echo louder than the warfare ever did. This isn't just an emotional moment. This is a prophetic release. The Lord has spoken, and the reversal has been activated. Your part now is simple. Walk it out. You are no longer hidden. You are revealed. You are no longer silenced. You are sent. You are no longer surviving sabotage. You are rising above it. And the same God who sustained you through the delay is now accelerating you into destiny. Type "I am sealed and sent" in the comments to confirm your divine reversal. Blessing code 7777 had been permanently activated over your name. This isn't the end of the video. This is the beginning of a movement. If this word has blessed you, imagine what it can do for someone still trapped in sabotage, still waiting for confirmation, still holding on by a thread. Your support helps send this prophetic fire into their lives. When you give, whether through Super Thanks, YouTube membership, or PayPal link in the description, you're not just giving to a platform. You're sowing into deliverance, into destiny, into divine reversal. Heaven multiplies what you release. God takes your seed and turns it into strategy. Your obedience becomes oil for someone else's breakthrough. Let your gift declare, "I believe in the word, and I'm sowing into its power." Heaven sees it. The earth responds to it. The Spirit breathes on it. Blessing. May every seed you sow become a gate of favor opened over your bloodline. Don't hesitate. Give boldly. Support the mission that's shaking sabotage and birthing destinies.